Murali Subrahmanyam, MD and Group Head, Data Analytics Operations, LSEG. With a round of applause, please join me in welcoming our panelists on stage. Accompanying Mr. Murali, we have Mr. Jayakumar Doshi, MD and CIO BT. Mr. Andrew Cole, MD Micronclean. Mr. James Glavey, COO TESCO. Ms. Joanne Concannon, Director, External Relations, University of York. And moderating this session, we have Mr. K.T. Rajan, British Deputy High Commissioner, Bangalore. Panelists, I want to take this opportunity and thank you for taking the time, gracing the occasion with your presence. Looking forward to your inputs and thoughts in this regard. Mr. Rajan, I'll leave it to you to take this session forward. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Please, Siva. Good afternoon, everybody. Small clarification. I'm not the Deputy High Commissioner. We have the Deputy High Commissioner here, Chandru Iyer, who will be speaking to us and delivering some opening remarks. My name is K.T. Rajan. I am the Cluster Head for Technology, Innovation, Education and Skills as a part of the Department for Business and Trade. So here I am today moderating this session. If you look at UK, I think UK has emerged as a global hub for innovation, nurturing a vibrant ecosystem of established corporate giants. You have a few of them here, British Telecom, TESCO and others. And globally acclaimed academic and research institutions. We have University of York here representing that. And dynamic startups. I wouldn't call Micronclean a dynamic startup, but as far as India is concerned, I think they were part of the dynamic startup. So you have a flavor of large companies, you have a flavor of medium-sized and small-scale companies, you have the education bit, so we're going to have an enlightened panel here. If you look at UK, why is UK the prime choice for business leaders? One of the key things is that UK has a very diverse, multi-sectoral economy, focusing on growth and innovation. On the academic side, if you look at among the top 10 globally acclaimed institutions, 4 of them are in the UK. And it's no surprise that among the G7, UK is ranked as #1 in terms of research and the impact in terms of research being commercialized. If you look at among the G20 countries, UK is ranked #2 in terms of ease of doing business. And the business environment is pretty strong and there's a lot of governmental support. And of course, there's a very highly qualified and mobile workforce which supports the UK economy. Incidentally, the population is more or less similar to Karnataka, but UK is the 6th largest economy in the world today. And to culminate all this, the UK is the cultural hub and has a global influence on building brands and businesses. So these are kind of some of the factors I could think of in terms of why business leaders prefer UK. On the other hand, when you look at Karnataka, Karnataka is home for more than about 400 of the top 500 Fortune 500 companies. Bangalore is, of course, the startup capital, which all of us know, and over 1/3 of the unicorns in the country have their origin from Bangalore. Karnataka contributes to about 42% of the software exports and about 33% of India's bioeconomy. So both in terms of IT and BT, Karnataka ranks among the top in the country. And in the recent survey by Oxford Economics, Bangalore was ranked as the fastest growing city in the world, not just now, for the next 10 years. So that's the kind of impetus that we have in Bangalore. So when you look at this kind of statistics in the UK and in Karnataka, Bangalore, then the two are natural allies. And that's where we thought we will give you a sneak preview of UK and Karnataka partners in economic growth. To kickstart our session today, we are really privileged to have the Honorable Deputy High Commissioner, Karnataka and Kerala, Mr. Chandru Iyer, giving us a few opening remarks. Welcome, Chandru.
Thank you, Katie, and good afternoon and namaskara ellorke, as we say in Nama Bengaluru. So it's great to see you all here this afternoon for what's going to be a really, really insightful and enriching panel. And I'm looking forward to hearing panel share their thoughts as well on why Karnataka. And so it should be a really interesting session. But before we have that, I'll just spend a few minutes to just share with you the broader UK-India story and in terms of what's been happening so far and what's the future looking like for all of us. So the UK-India trade and investment story is an amazing story. It's a story that's worth 42 billion pounds. And we have the aspirations to take that story to the next level. The two prime ministers of the two countries met at the sidelines of G20 in Brazil last year, and they agreed on looking to refresh our strategic partnership and take that relationship to the next level. So trade and investment is an integral part of that partnership growth story. And it's great to see that businesses, which are some of them are on the panel, and a lot of Indian businesses who are investors in the UK are enablers of that growth story. So I'm really, really honored and privileged to be here to kickstart this panel discussion. At the outset, I would like to thank the State Government of Karnataka, Chief Minister Subrahmanyam ji, Deputy Chief Minister D.K. Shivkumar ji, and our Industries Minister M.B. Patil and his team for their unflinching support in ensuring that British companies have a smooth sailing journey in this wonderful state that is called Karnataka. And when we were looking to, decide on what should we name this panel discussion, we could not think of any other word than say that UK and Karnataka are partners in economic growth of each other. And that is so very apt. I would say that over the last 2 years of my stay in this city and this state, more than partnership, it's a friendship. There's a friendship between the UK and Karnataka that has ensured that the relationship is strong and augurs well for the future. And there are some facts and figures to substantiate that. So there's a report that comes out every year which talks about British investments in India, comes out through Grant Thornton and CII. So the report that was launched last year said that there are close to 700 British companies in India doing exceptionally well, creating lots of jobs and supporting economic growth. And out of that, it's really, really good to hear that Karnataka is the third largest destination for British companies. So thanks to companies like yours who are on the panel here, who are contributing towards that story. But interesting fact out of that is that the number of British companies has gone up in the state, and number of companies who are growing at a rate of more than 10% has also gone up. So that's very positive. And they are supporting jobs, almost 35,000 jobs in this state, which is a really, really big number. And that's a testament to the fact that Karnataka as a state is so very well known for skill availability, wonderful universities and engineering colleges, which ensures that organizations like TESCO, BT, and LSEG have a steady stream of resources available for them. So we talk about employment, we talk about, of course, great weather in this city as well, which is another plus point. But more importantly, I think it's the ease of doing business. The state government is extremely supportive in ensuring that the business climate is friendly and amenable for foreign companies to do business here. So the numbers speak for itself. I can talk about the jobs being created, as I said, the revenues that all these businesses are having, and it's no longer a cost arbitrage story, as some of the panelists may talk about later. It's about a lot of these businesses are contributing to the bottom line of their parent companies back home. So that is again a testament to the fact that it is no longer an outsourcing story. It's a story of adding gross value to the larger business groups back home in the UK. So yeah, we are extremely proud to be part of this story here today in terms of positioning Karnataka up front as the investment destination for foreign companies. I accompanied Minister M.B. Patil to the UK in December. We had a roadshow which was extremely very well received. And it's great to have on the panel Joanne from University of York. The education story is a really good story as well. So we have, as Katie mentioned, the University of Liverpool has tied up an MOU with the State Government of Karnataka, and some real good announcements could be in the offing in the future. But that's just one example. We'd love to hear a bit more from University of York about their aspirations and ambitions for this state. But this is just the beginning. We do expect that more such examples of academic story comes through for us from the UK into Karnataka. And while we are here talking about trade and investment, it will be not fair on my part to not talk about a very large event that is happening a few kilometers from here called Aero India. So we had a very successful couple of days of Aero India for us as the United Kingdom. We had our Ministry of State for Defense, Lord Coker, with us. He just flown back to the UK, and he has had a very successful, productive, and he's gone back very happy, a productive trip for him. Again, aerospace, space, defense are again sectors wherein Karnataka has a lot of potential for us. A lot of our big boys are already here in this state, the likes of Rolls-Royce and others. But we do expect more British companies in this sector to call Bangalore and Karnataka their home very soon. And I keep talking about Bangalore, but I'm also a big proponent of beyond Bangalore. So we are also doing our bit as the UK government to ensure that investments can be spread across the state. So we do regular outreaches to Bangalore on one side, Mysore, Hubli, Dharwad. We expect that a lot of our British companies explore opportunities not just in Bangalore, which is a great city, Namma Bengaluru, but also beyond the capital. So it's a very positive story. We as the United Kingdom are extremely proud to have Karnataka as our partners in economic growth of each other's region, and long it may continue. Thank you for being here, and I look forward to hearing from this wonderful panel on their thoughts about why Karnataka. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Chandru. As Chandru said, I think maybe we should change the title instead of Partners in Economic Growth, Friends in Economic Growth. But then let's see how we are friends and how we have been working together. I understand the Commissioner of Commerce and Industry, Madam Gunjan Krishna, is joining us. Is she on the way? Yeah, okay. So I think we'll carry on with the panel, and if she comes in, I think we can join in. I thought what we could do as a team is introduce yourself and then the organization that you represent, and links about what you do in India specifically, and then in Karnataka, your operations and the kind of establishment that you have here, just to kick off the discussions. Over to you, Joanne.
Well, hello everybody, and it's a real pleasure and honor to be here. And can you all hear me? So I'm Director of External Relations at the University of York, which is a member of the Russell Group, group of universities. By that, largely you could say we are research-intensive universities. I won't go into a huge detailed explanation because it's all on our website, but I would distill it as saying that the importance of our research is vital, but so is our teaching and our students. And the best way to evidence that is a Venn diagram that I'm extremely fond of, which goes as follows, that we are ranked in the Research Excellence Framework in the UK in the top 10, and we are also a gold for teaching excellence. We are one of only 4 universities to have that dual accolade. So it is York and 3 others you may possibly have heard of, Oxford, Cambridge, and Imperial, but we won't talk about them. So I'm really interested to be here to learn more about Karnataka. We have a very, very keen interest in India. We've been welcoming Indian students for a number of years, but we're also really interested in not just what we are good at, but what we're good for. And in that respect, I'm really interested in thinking about the ways our research, our teaching, and our skills agenda map on extremely well to the state's priorities, particularly around sustainable economic growth. And I can talk some more about that, but I'll hand over now to my next colleague.
Over to James.
Phil, thank you so much. And likewise, a pleasure to be here with you all today. So James Glavey, I'm the Chief Operating Officer for TESCO Business Solutions as part of the wider TESCO group. For those of you that don't know TESCO, we are the UK's leading food retailer. So 4,500 stores across the UK. We employ about 300,000 employees globally. And outside of our primary UK market, we also have stores in the Republic of Ireland and in Central Europe as well. There's also other subsidiary businesses. So we have a mobile business, we have a food wholesale business, and we have a data science business, dunnhumby, as well. To your question around our presence in Bangalore and in India, so the part of the organisation I work for, Business Solutions for TESCO, we have about 5,000 people in our campus in Bangalore, split pretty much 50-50 between technology roles and business roles, and is very much seen as an extension to our UK head office. So some traditional roles that you would expect around finance, people, HR services, but also from some very specialist capabilities as well around property, product, enterprise analytics, data science, and legal and such. Outside of that direct work that happens in Bangalore, across wider India, we also have 600 people based in Gurgaon for our dunnhumby organisation, and we have a joint partnership with Tata for the Star retail stores that you may know. So that's about close to 70 retail stores predominantly in the south of India. So that's an overview of who we are, and I'll hand over to Andrew.
Yeah. Thanks, James. I think one of the interesting things is the TESCO Business Solutions also won the Global Award, Business Excellence Award.
Absolutely.
As the number one among the top 5 companies globally, and there was one UK company, and that UK company won the Business Award. So
I was trying to be a little modest, but thank you for flagging it. So yeah, we were voted the world's best GBS a couple of years ago, and we were the runner-up last year. We've submitted our entry for this year, and we fingers crossed that we can take our crown again. But yeah, very proud.
All the very best. Over to you, Andrew.
Thank you very much, Katie. So I'm Andrew Cole. I'm Managing Director of Micronclean India, and I've had the privilege, really, of living in Bangalore for the last 7 years. So it's my home, my family home, and I've really enjoyed that. So as part of the setup, Micronclean India, in the UK, it's the leading specialised clean room services laundry provider. So we are the largest of that particular sector. It's quite a niche area of business, but we provide into very specialized industries. The clean room laundry service is critical. So if you're making pharmaceuticals, semiconductors, or any critical components, you need to have a very clean working environment, and we can help protect the working environment by clothing your operators to make sure it's extremely clean. So in effect, I make my living from cleaning scientists' underwear, which is something that I can be proud of saying because it's a very critical part of the process. In terms of the UK business, it's a family-owned business. We've been operating as a laundry service since 1880. So we have a real vast array of experience within our business. The family is now 3 generations old that have owned Micronclean. And we started utilizing cleanroom technology back in the 80s. We were the first company in the UK to operate that service, and that's why we've grown so successfully. Obviously, the UK is a very small island, and once you've got quite a large segment of that business, you have to explore elsewhere. So as part of that, we explored parts of the world that hadn't been developed, with clean room laundry services. And we found that India was absolutely potential for us to grow our business and provide an extremely professional outsourced service to the pharmaceutical and biotechnology industries. And as we all know, India is one of the greatest exporters of pharmaceutical and biotech products around the world. So under that challenge, which is amazing, they have quite high regulatory inspections from the US FDA, from the MHRA, and various other regulatory authorities. And they were really looking for improvements in some of the services that were being carried out. And Micronclean were able to see that as an opportunity and have established our facility just outside of Bangalore. And many of the people, Chandru in fact has been to the facility and seen what we operate like. So effectively, we are very much like a pharmaceutical producer, but we are washing and cleaning and providing very clean, sterile services of garments, protective garments, back to the industry. So Bangalore is our home, but we have extended beyond Bangalore with our services, and we provide a daily service out to much of the region, but also our latest client in Vizag. So you can imagine, to get clients that are across India like that, the logistics have to be absolutely perfect. I know my colleague here, their logistics is amazing. We've had to adopt similar principles to make sure we create a seamless service. So that's a small overview. I'll pass over to Jay.
I think from the cleaning business, let's go to the communication business. On to BT.
Yeah. Thank you, Katie. Thank you, Andrew. And ellarigu namaskara. I am the MD and CIO corporate for BT Group. BT Group, as most of you would know, was there at the dawn of the communication technology that started. With 175 plus years of legacy, we have witnessed every shift that has happened in the telecom technology over the years and to see. We are a leading telecom provider in our home country, UK, and we are really proud of what we do also from a national importance perspective in the UK. I am hoping that some of you on the panel highly likely are also a BT customer. If you have a complaint, don't say it publicly. I'm sure there is no chance of that, but you know, BT has been in India for more than 3 decades. As a company, we always believed that we will go where the talent is. And BT in Bengaluru started 2 decades back. Overall, in the country, we have 15,000 colleagues that work directly for BT. And there'll be additional partners of equal size that support our customers working for their respective partner organization. So we have a significantly large presence, and our focus really from a BT Group perspective is how do we leverage the talent that is available here and match with the opportunity to improve and deliver a fantastic customer experience, which I'm sure is the same with, you know, James, with you in TESCO, and for sure in what you will say, Murali, as well. For us at BT Group, it has been a journey of evolution from starting with doing software engineering in India and then moving into various different functions that lead to business processes, customer support, but also into the back office's operation as well. We have 3 primary locations, Gurugram, Kolkata, and Bengaluru. Across these 3 locations, these 15,000 colleagues are located. Specifically coming to Bengaluru and Karnataka, this is, after the UK, the largest technology talent for BT Group. roughly around 2,500, 3,000 of talent and colleagues work in BT Group across the 4 brands that we operate in the UK and globally. Our focus here has been really driving innovation and transformation from here so that we can learn from what's happening in the industry here and contextualize it for what's happening back in the UK. And it's just, as Chandru spoke about, the cultural alignment. We speak the same language. And that whole integration of the culture, the language, and I would also say the 4.5 hour or 5.5 hour of time gap really fosters that collaboration across the 2 locations, which is what we make the best use of. So, overall, BT Group with 175 plus years of legacy and a great talent here is really transforming and taking the customer experience and the service to the next height, but really deploying data, AI, and the technology to change that experience as well. With that, I'll hand over to you, Murali.
Thank you. My name is Murali. I work for the group called LSEG. LSEG derives its name from London Stock Exchange. In the stock exchange, we do about 450 million transactions a day. The market cap of companies listed in the exchange is over $5 trillion. Compares to the size of the GDP of our country. But it's the smallest of our businesses. The index business enables people to invest based on these indices, and the amount of wealth that tracks the indices is over $20 trillion, bigger than the GDP of the United States. My division, which is data and analytics, we publish 500,000 economic indicators every single day that enables people to take financial decisions around the world. We extract information from 31 million sources of documents and publish them so that people can take economic decisions. Governments, institutions, traders, anybody who wants to take an economic indicator can come to us and look at our data, and they can take a decision. As regards to Bangalore, 1/4 of our group's workforce works from this city. We enable the LSEG group from Bangalore. It's very difficult for us to continue to do the business the way we do without Bangalore. Karnataka is absolutely necessary and integral part of what we do. So that's us. Thank you.
Thanks, Murali. I think we've got a good cross-section. We've got manufacturing, we've got retail, we've got infrastructure, and we have the money man, and of course the education bit. So I thought what we could do is, in the interest of time, cover a few kind of aspects. One we could look at, I'm sure each of you had an opportunity to look at India, and then in India, multiple states and multiple locations. It might be well before your time because TESCO is, I think, more than 2 decades old, BT is more than 2 decades old. But if you broadly look at the current scenario in country, what kind of ticks for you in Karnataka, and why Karnataka? You want to start with Andrew?
So we actually looked at many locations before we settled on Bangalore in Karnataka. And because we're interested in working with the pharmaceutical and biotechnology sector, we certainly recognized that this was a clear leader for biotechnology, and it gave a real good infrastructure option for us. We looked at land parcels around Karnataka, and in particular in Bangalore, and what we felt was that we worked with the KIDB Development Board, and we felt that they had the right support for us to purchase land that then enabled us to build a facility in Bangalore that had a guarantee of land rights and all of the infrastructure provided to it. And that was really critical for us as a company coming from the outside, and our first investment in India had to be spot on. So we needed all of the support that we could. And I think that infrastructure, the clearance systems for approvals, that went quite smoothly. I think there were one or two hurdles within that journey, and unfortunately we chose the land that we wanted, and then we were told 2 weeks later after it being approved that unfortunately we couldn't have that land, it was promised elsewhere. So there are certain hurdles and bureaucracy that we had to face. However, we overlooked that, we then moved on, and we found the parcel of land, and then we found really good contractors. The support partly was from a British project management company that had a large operation in Bangalore as well, and that really gave us the confidence. We'd got good contacts within the government departments, and that really enabled us to make things happen. And obviously the support as well that came along with that from the High Commission team, that really, if you had a query and you couldn't find an answer, they were the go-to team to say, can you help? And normally they would be able to do that. So that infrastructure was very important for us without that presence in India, and it helped us to then have a much smoother integration into the operations.
Yeah. Thanks, Andrew. I think as High Commission, what we try and do is work with the local government. I think as the Deputy High Commission based in Bangalore, it's been an excellent relationship for us through the Karnataka government. And anywhere where we can at least open doors, we try and see how we can do that. Then it's, of course, up to the company. I think, Jay, you had a point.
Yeah, I think I just want to take a perspective of what was it 20 years back and what's today from an, So 20 years back, when choices were being made, you had few but really significant institutions that were making great engineering talent available. We also had a large setup of national organizations that were working on the technology, like the whole defense DRDO organizations that formed a backbone of some of the initial organizations that started in the technology. So there was an ecosystem of academia, though limited in size at that point of time, but it did meet the requirement of the talent. In addition to, of course, I'm giving away my age, but in those days, Bangalore was known for its pubs as well, which was probably something not other cities were so popular. Things have changed in the last 20 years. But what you have seen today, and if you're making a choice today about a location, as Chandru mentioned, Bangalore is the startup capital of the country, probably the largest after US, Israel, UK. It's probably the largest, fourth, fifth largest. What you've also seen is this ecosystem is leveraged by the large players like Amazon, AWS, Google, Microsoft, NVIDIA. So you talk about the ecosystem in which we operate, not just them, but there are smaller players that we work with as well who are driving some of the innovation in the niche space. They also have an operation here. So when you put that together, along with academia, you have the innovative players, and then the whole SI ecosystem, be it Indian or the foreign origin. So Infosys, Wipro, Tech Mahindra, TCS, Accenture, Capgemini, they also have a significant presence. So basically, everything that you need to make a success for the company is within the 10-mile radius from where you are. And I think this ecosystem's uniqueness really presents a great opportunity. Of course, there are challenges as well, and specifically the 10 miles sounds really positive. I think when we convert that 10 miles into terms of the travel time, I think we got to solve that problem a little bit. But other than that, I think it's a fantastic ecosystem. And the collaboration that used to happen between India and the headquarters has now become horizontal, basically. So I think it's a great ecosystem of academia, industry, startups, and the SI.
Thanks, James. I think from a TESCO's perspective, if you look at, you've got a large campus and you run a lot of operations from here. And I understand there's this fair bit of expansion that's going to come through over the next few years. So how do you see the local infrastructure supporting your operations, and any challenges that you face that we could share with the government here?
Okay, no, great question. So similar to J and BT scenario, and I think you referenced, we've also been here in Karnataka for 21 years. So one of those first companies that I guess established a capability. I think one of the things, in answer to your previous question, that has kept us here and keeps us interested is just the wealth of talent that we have available. So I touched on some of those specialist kind of capabilities that we deliver from here, and whether it be needing architects, UK OFA lawyers, data scientists, we have the skill set and the capability here, and we can fulfill that. I think we have, I think I'm correct in saying that we've got 4 of the top 40 data scientists in India working for us in Karnataka. So just that wealth of knowledge and expertise and capability on the doorstep here is so, so important. And you're right in terms of our ambitions to grow as well. So we are part way through a planning application to expand our existing campus that we have. One of the things that's really positive about working here is the support that we've had from KUM on guiding us through that process and letting us know what that needs to look like and how we go through that. Similar challenges to Jay's flagging around some of the infrastructure, but lots of positive things and support to help us to grow and meet our ambitions here.
I think that's a nice segue into talent, what I was thinking as in kind of key. Talent can be either a boon or a bane in many cases. While we have a lot of engineering colleges, a lot of institutions, etc., and a whole lot of engineers and other professionals, STEM professionals, and other professionals passing out of those institutions. But then employability becomes a problem in terms of how employable they are, how ready for the industry they are, etc. And I think, Murali, what better example than you in terms of services? How do you find the talent? And I think we were also having a discussion about the leadership talent not being up to the mark in your opinion. But not to steal the thunder, how do you see the overall talent situation in Karnataka? How is it helping your businesses? And what are the areas that we could look at and support as UK corporate in developing that and growing better?
So I'll try to answer that question by giving an example of something that I recently observed. Bangalore, there is a specific pickle called toku. It's made out of mango. If you ask a normal person, how would you make a mango pickle? They would say, take 2 kilograms of mango, take 2 tablespoons of red chili, and follow the recipe, and you'll get something out. But Karnataka has got 200 varieties of mangoes. And when you ask a Bangalorean, how do you make mango pickle, they completely do it differently than how I told you. What they do is, they say, take 2 kilograms of mangoes, taste it. Based on the sourness, add the amount of chili powder. And I saw this in action in my office. We were extracting some content from some document.
Database.
A conventional programmer would write an algorithm and have a very specific way of extracting that content. But this young man did something remarkable. He wrote a base prompt, and the base prompt generated another prompt based on what the first observations were. a true recipe being constructed instead of following a pre-thought out algorithm. I think this is only possible when you're exposed and when you think differently and when you understand the nuances of life very differently. A normal programmer would have written an algorithm in a certain way. A Bangalorean, based on the experience that they have, write it and approach the problem very differently. The problem that I have is, are we conscious of the diversity and the thinking that Bangalore brings in? Are we exploiting it in our business? Are we creating products and solutions of what Karnataka and Bangalore has to offer? That, I think, is the job of the leadership. And I think we in leadership can do better. The talent is there, the depth is there, the thinking is there, the ability is there. It's up to the leadership to enable it and let it bloom. And that's the problem that I'm trying to grapple with. Not the talent problem, but the leadership problem. How to make eclectic leaders, how to enable and embrace what Karnataka and Bangalore has to offer. And it has a lot to offer. Hopefully that answers partly your question.
Thanks, Murali. I think the mango example was a great one in terms of thinking out of the box and then understanding what's available and how you can bet best. Well, we have 4 organizations who are already established in Karnataka and doing well and growing. We do have the University of York looking at Karnataka as a kind of prospect, if you will. And I think this is the right segue, Johan, for you to come in terms of how you're developing the thinking out of the box kind of a mindset in people and making them more productive than what they could usually be. And there have been quite a few cases. We'd be happy to hear from you.
Thank you. I would say that the University of York's got a 62-year history of trying to think out of the box. We were founded by what can only be described as a bunch of renegade academics from Oxford and Cambridge who wanted to bring academic rigor into a very new kind of learning environment. And I will use a phrase that even in 1963, in a much less globalized United Kingdom, the phrase of what the aspiration for our students were, that they should be citizens of the world who cared not just about what they were learning, but what they were going to do with the learning. And I think that still infuses the way that we think about our learning environment. I think now the escalation of artificial intelligence, global conflict, the lack of empathy that we see in so many parts of the public discourse has led us to think again about what is the learning environment that we can provide our students that really thinks not just about what happens inside the classroom, but what happens as part of their wider learning experience. And part of that is ensuring that all of our students have a global mindset, that they think very carefully about understanding diversity of opinion. So going back to what you were saying, that diversity of talent and how to foster it. So in a UK environment, we very much practice a kind of principle of going where hard to reach audiences are. So we have a long-standing history of attracting students from the kind of backgrounds who have not traditionally ever thought about university as an aspiration that they had a right to. I think in the context of skills, and it's really interesting that the reimagining growth, I think we're also at a point where we need to reimagine what we think we mean by skills from the point of view of not just instrumental technical skills, but the graduates that we are sending out into the world who can be flexible and adaptable, who are good communicators, who are able to respond to the challenges and the opportunities of technology in a really constructive way. So where that leads us to thinking out of the box in terms of the sheer nature of higher education and the structure and the utility of a degree as merely the start of a journey, thinking about lifelong learning. If you think about the scale of job obsolescence and job changes and the lack of the huge employer demand around green skills, about the ability to respond to technology, it behoves universities to think very differently, therefore, about the structure of the learning that we're offering. So one of the things that we are embarking on is really mobilizing our existing alumni community. We have 160,000 alumni in 180 countries. So we've just recently launched an interactive digital platform to enable them to communicate and engage with each other, to think about the ways that they can learn, but also in a lifelong learning context, what are the post-degree structures that we need to put in place, working with much shorter lines of communication with all of you, because what you need now is not necessarily what you're going to need in 5 years' time. And so the education system itself, and we very much are in the vanguard of thinking about this in the UK, needs to change and to be much more adaptable and flexible. We tell our students they have to be adaptable, so must universities. So then Karnataka is really interesting from the point of view of the sheer scale of ambition. The dynamism of the place is just extraordinary from the minute you get off the plane. This is my second visit here, and I can't wait to come back already. But it's also about, for York, the very strong interrelationship we have between teaching and research. So one of the reasons that we're super interested in Karnataka is the expertise that we have in biotechnology and the bioeconomy. So that scale of the need to move away from fossil fuel extraction to produce the chemicals that Andrew is using to give my scientists, I hate to say this, clean underwear. I'm suddenly very interested. But also the talent of how we think about the bio-based materials mapping onto the kind of major challenges around clean water. We're a huge expert in anaerobic digestion. And what's interesting about Karnataka is the UK is relatively small, so we are moving at scale to develop a large-scale testing facility to use anaerobic digestion as one example to deliver clean water more efficiently. But the scale of what you could do in India to work with Indian partners where we can be all more than the sum of our parts, to use some of our science, which there are only a handful of science groups in the world doing this kind of work, to think about the scale of difference that you could make in the context of a really big problem in terms of solid waste and the valorization of that and the circular economy that goes alongside it, we think is a huge opportunity. And so those are the kinds of things that we're interested in. But it is about expanding the frontiers of how we think about education, and most importantly, not just sitting in our campuses thinking great thoughts just for the sake of them, but how are we going to apply them to leave the world in a better place than we found it?
Yeah, thanks, John. I think that leads us into, if you look at the current media, I think there's been a lot of discussions about work-life balance, and with some very senior corporate leaders making some comments in terms of how much time you spend in the office, how much time you spend at home. I think culture becomes an important aspect, especially when you have multinational companies, multinational executives operating in different countries. In your experience, how have you found UK professionals coming in and operating in India? Any kind of positives, negatives that you see? And many of you are expats here in the country, including Chandru. So how do you see the culture here, and is it supporting?
So my role's based over in Welland, but through the role I spend probably, I mean, of the last 6 weeks, I've been here for 5. So a fair amount of the time based over in Bangalore. And in my previous organization, I actually worked for BT for 20 years before I joined TESCO. So I've had, since 2007, split in my time between the UK and various parts of India. And it's been a fantastic experience for me. I think the wealth of the culture that you have here, the kind of openness and welcome that you receive, and all of the support that goes around it has been super, super positive. And particularly in TESCO, I'm seeing a huge amount of travel between the two as well. So it isn't just the UK colleagues moving over here and spending time either through expat contracts or through business. But because of the talent and the seniority of roles, and me and Jay were talking about this before the session, as the leadership capability and the reliance on that talent that's here at the very top of our UK-based organisations, we're seeing more and more of our originally India-based teams spending time in the UK and influencing the culture there as well. So very positive, very welcoming, and yeah, a very positive experience.
Wonderful, James. Any comments from BT, LSEG? Would you?
I have a theory which is slightly interesting. So I always say that you should try to work for companies which are headquartered in East. You can start the day early and finish the day early. Yeah. But unfortunately for most of us, the headquarters is in the West.
Other side.
So you end up with long days. But it's interesting. It's you know, when I look out, I see many people not so fortunate. We have a job. We have an ability to influence nations, companies, individuals. So I think that we should take our jobs very seriously. That's a simple answer to work-life balance. And I think that a busy man can, or a person can find time for everything.
Yeah, thanks, Murali. Any comments from your side, Vic? Okay,
I think they've covered it. Both of them have really covered it. I think
wonderful.
all I can say is, having worked with the US companies in the past, as I said at the start, the 4 and 5 hours gap with the proper collaboration and an expectation management on both sides does work very well from a UK perspective. So I think that way. But again, I know this is a debate going on in India massively around work-life balance. I think there are different numbers being thrown out. Not going to get into that, but my personal view is it's a personal choice you make, and you do what you love to do, basically. So I think it's very personal, and I think there's no one-size-fits-all answer to the work-life balance. That's my perspective. But as he said, I also buy into his theory that I would prefer to get up early in the morning and do a call at 6 a.m. than be on a call at 8 p.m.
Thanks, Jay. One another aspect that normally comes to mind is as UK corporations and as UK government in any part of the world that we operate, we try and see how we can integrate ourselves with the local community. It's not just bringing investment in terms of money or creating jobs at the local site, but making sure that you're able to integrate with the local community, contribute, develop, and see how you can grow as an organization and also as a community in that premise. Yeah. In that context, I would like to hear some examples of what BT has done, for example, and what TESCO has done, and others, if you can add it.
I think each one of us will have a story to share around this one for sure. As you rightly say, it links really into our, I would say, we are not just in a community, but we are part of the community. And that's at the core of one of our employee value proposition for our colleagues in terms of being able to give back to the society. What we have really done is we have tied up with British Asian Trust in terms of channelizing all our activities around giving back. What we also call it CSR, Corporate Social Responsibility in India. Our focus really has been around underprivileged, science and technology, a girl child, some of the things that we are really doing that really touches each one of us are working with charities or NGOs like Mentor Together, going to school, Katha up north. These are focused around really, really bright students who do not have the same opportunity like a student studying engineering in Bengaluru. They are 500 kilometers away from Bengaluru. They're going through the same course content, but they don't get that platform to really express and demonstrate their ability. So we do a significant part, and in all of this, we involve our colleagues. So our colleagues become their mentor, help them with their interview preparation, help them with their resumes, do everything. The whole intent is they are their buddies, sounding board. And it's so fulfilling when we really even get one of those to get a job, because what we are doing then is we're not getting one person, helping get one person a job, but we are uplifting the life of a family and the generations to come. So it's really, really so important and integral for what we do here in India. And I think over the last decade or so, we must have impacted 1 million lives in this country.
Thanks for sharing that, Jay. I think quite encouraging. How about TESCO?
So I guess if I start with TESCO's purpose is around serving our customers, our communities, and our planet a little better every day. And we absolutely live that purpose here in Karnataka. So I guess to mention a couple other things. So firstly, around our contribution to environment. So you mentioned our campus. We have 100% of the energy that we use in the campus is through solar energy, so renewable. We recycle 100% of the water that we use on the campus, and we actually have water treatment facilities on site. And likewise with our food waste, so we convert 100% of that food waste to biogas and donate that. So there's lots of things around environment that we do. We also have a zero policy on plastics for our food and drinks, so huge contributions there. The second piece around what we can do to help the local area in agriculture. So as a food retailer, it's something we're passionate about. So over the last 3 years, we've worked with over 5,000 farming families to provide education and training about evolutions in farming principles and practice and how technology can help, and education around retaining and maximizing water usage. And through that, we've helped those families to achieve circa 50% improvement in the yield of their crops, so making a difference there to the income of those families. And then finally on education as well. So we partner with an organisation called Magic Bus of India Partnership, and particularly focus on disadvantaged children from families, providing education and support. So I think it's about 1,800 children over the last 3 years that we've worked with to provide customer service training, learning about customer centricity, communication, about digital skills and technologies. And then we help many of those children in their careers. And in particular, I referenced about our joint partnership with Tata, with the Star supermarkets. So we help lots of those children then, I say children, typically 18 to 25-year-olds, so not quite children, young adults, to then move into a career into retail. And we also sponsor some exceptional talents as well. So around 200 individuals where we have provided scholarships to pursue further education in engineering and in technology, and also provide mentoring for those individuals as well, and particularly again target communities and individuals that may not have had that opportunity otherwise. So I think 70% of those young adults have come again from agricultural family backgrounds where they maybe wouldn't have had that opportunity had we have not supported. So lots that we do there to contribute and hopefully help the community that we operate in.
Awesome, James. I think as Chief Operating Officer and with the kind of work you have been doing in the community, you're not far off from contesting the next election maybe under the TESCO name. Joanne, I think you had a comment.
I did. I'm really passionate about this part of my work, which is demonstrating the importance and accessibility of education to audiences. So I'll give you 3 quick examples that if we were to do anything in India, we would imagine mimicking and mirroring. The first of which is our students themselves. It's a really great skills addition to them in any case, but we have shoals of students who go out and assist in schools. We have students who are running sustainability projects with small and medium-sized businesses in the local area, helping them to think about their own carbon footprint and to think about that from a really practical point of view and the skills that they get. And then every year we do a large scale, we set up the York Festival of Ideas 13 years ago, just to the point where tuition fees were becoming incredibly expensive in the UK as a means of demystifying universities. And every year we run about 250 free events. The important bit for me is that A, they're free, but B, we work with about 150 program partners that range from small community organizations to really large scale organizations like financial services and charities and so forth. The important bit about that is it's not branded as the university. So you get a very different kind of audience coming in, engaging in what we're doing, and frankly we program by stealth because we use people off the telly and selling books alongside academics. And it is about harnessing the power of other people's audiences to tell a story about why universities are relevant. And I think that trust in universities is being eroded, and we need to be doing things that actually take our story to where audiences are, who may have some distrust and may have views about higher education being an alien thing that they don't really understand and they don't really think it's for them. And I think it's up to us to have the responsibility to go out and tell a different story. So working alongside, and I think the opportunities to do things in India, to take that kind of approach as well, to work with local partners is something that we would see as a big part of our agenda.
Yeah, thanks, John. I think it's a great example of not just educating people, but grooming them to be good human beings and ensuring that they're part of the community. Andrew, you had a comment, in spite of not being a large organization, if you will, I think you're doing things in your own way, and every coin counts here. So.
Absolutely. So we've probably got the smallest workforce out of anyone. We employ about 80 people currently, which will set to grow over the next 18 months. However, what I am impressed about is the dedication. We want people that are not necessarily, they haven't been in our industry. So we've got to take somebody with the right passion and get them engaged into our business so that they really do create an excellent service model for how we deliver to our clients. And I'm amazed at the amount of, we've got really good retention, which is amazing. And when you consider that people travel for hours to get to our facility, just to work a normal working day, that really does enthuse me. And I really am amazed by the passion that people have. Now, hopefully, we can capture all of that and give a customer excellence back beyond the expectations of what they think they're going to get. We always aim for higher and higher. And it's only by having engaged team members. And so far, we've really been successful in that. And hopefully, I create a family environment that they are engaged in that. It's all about those team members. It can't be me, it's got to be them that are supporting the whole business and the way that we grow. So that's been an exceptional experience that I've found.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. Quickly, Murali, you have any comment on what LSEG is doing?
In India, there is both in north and south, there's some remarkable things that people say. You know, when you give with your right hand, your left hand should not know about it. So it's a remarkable thing that, but societies at large, you know, evolutions are based on certain principles. What makes us human is compassion. Societies and countries have ways to propagate compassion. In the United States, for example, the inheritance laws are so complicated and so punitive that people form trusts, and these trusts are means to do great work in society. In India, the government has come up with this 2% CSR thing, which is making us do certain good things certain ways. Every society finds its own ways to take care of downtrodden and people who need help, and so has India done remarkably well by way of this 2% CSR thing. There's more to do, and every one of us are doing our bit. London Stock Exchange, not only through the 2% CSR, but also through the global foundation that we have, do a large number of things in Bangalore. We have adopted a lake recently. In addition to that, there's a number of other activities that people are very passionately involved, and there is also money coming in to these initiatives.
Yeah. Thanks, Murali. I think time's up and we're almost there. Going by the theme of the conference, reimagining growth, I think one thing comes through very clearly, that education, like what's at the university level, growing into employability, making sure that you are able to employ yourself and get your skills sharpened, and of course, moving into entrepreneurship, like what Andrew and his team do. I think those are the kind of key tenets that one needs to work on for economic growth. And the UK industry has demonstrated about what they're doing in all the three sectors, whether it is education, employability, or in entrepreneurship. And with Karnataka offering all the kind of support and the government being very forthcoming, I think we see a very positive outlook for the UK-Karnataka relationship and the UK industry trying to establish here and growing economies of not just UK, not just Karnataka, but the entire global outlook. Also, I think we did have a bit of a discussion about community and how we are working. I think it's our responsibility to make sure that we leave this world a better place for our children, and I think the UK corporate are doing a good job on that, and we would continue to do that with the support of Karnataka government. And let's give a good round of applause to our panelists. Thanks for being a wonderful audience. I'm sorry we couldn't take any questions, but hopefully the panelists will be around and you can have one-on-one interactions. Thank you very much.
Can we have yes. Please put your hands together, ladies and gentlemen, and let's give it up for our esteemed delegates present on stage today. I want to take this opportunity once again and give you my hearty thanks for taking the time of joining us out here and sharing with us your thoughts and inputs. If I could request a lot of you to remain back on stage. Yes, Mr. Iyer, if I could also request you to join us back on stage. We have a token of appreciation from the side of Government of Karnataka, and I would like to hand it over to all of you. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and let's give it up for our esteemed delegates present on stage. Thank you so much once again for joining us at Invest Karnataka and talking to us about UK and Karnataka partners in economic growth and friends indeed.